The Romney Tax Plan. Who pays? You do. Now, the Romney Plan cuts the tax rates by 20% while eliminating tax credits and deductions to pay for this tax rate cut. The 35% rate drops to 28%, the 33% to 26.4%, the 28% to 22.4%, the 25% drops to 20%, 15% to 12%, and the 10% drops to 8%. Now, the Romney Plan is designed to be revenue neutral by eliminating many loopholes, and we call these things deductions and credits. The federal government will receive no more or no less money after the tax law changes, and it would not affect the budget deficit. Every dollar of cut would have to be made up by a dollar of revenue from eliminated or reduced tax expenditures, of course, deductions and credits. The new tax rates would cause a $361 billion revenue loss to the United States Treasury. $251 billion of this will be coming from the people making over $200,000 a year. $110 billion of this cut would be to the people in the lower brackets, people making under or less than $200,000 a year. According to the plan, these losses must be made up by eliminating deductions, tax credits, and loopholes. Now, the big problem is that there are not enough deductions and credits for the top 2% to pay for their tax cut. Now, remember, their cut would be $251 billion. Now, if we eliminate all possible loopholes for the 2%, top 2%, we can only get back $160 billion. And this would leave us an $86 billion shortfall, probably having to be made up by the middle class. Now, the middle class would get a $110 billion tax cut, but would probably have to pay the Treasury almost $200 billion with the less deductions to keep the plan as it was designed to be revenue neutral. Now, we have $110 billion for the middle class tax cut, but we also have an $86 billion shortfall, which would give us $196 billion that the middle class would have to make up with a reduction of tax credits, deductions, and other incentives. Where will the $196 billion come from? Well, here are a few examples. We can eliminate or reduce the exclusion of your employer contributions to health insurance premiums. In other words, your employer, many of your employers, will pay part or most of your health insurance. You do not get taxed on this right now. But if we did make this taxable income, we could provide the Treasury with $131 billion. You would get taxed on maybe $12,000 of income that you right now don't claim, and that would increase your tax burden. In the same way, your mortgage deduction, you can eliminate or reduce the exclusion of the deductibility of your interest on your home mortgage. Right now, if you're paying $6,000 or $7,000 in interest on your mortgage, you do not get taxed on that. If we eliminated this deduction, we can make up to $88.5 billion for the Treasury. We can think of your charitable contributions. We can eliminate or reduce this exclusion, and the money that you now give to your church or to your charities, you would get taxed on as income. And we have a child credit. Right now, you get a credit for having a child to help pay for the things that they need as they grow. If we reduced or eliminated, we can make up to $28.4 billion to cover the almost $200 billion that need to be replaced if this plan is to be revenue neutral. Now, these are just some of the things that can be implemented to raise your taxes, but to make the Romney tax plan revenue neutral. But now let's talk about who gets the breaks in this plan. Now, the top 1/10 of 1% gets a net tax break, and this is after they get rid of their deductions and loopholes, of $246,000. Now, from the 99th to the 99.9%, their tax cut would average $86,000. And from the 95th to the 99th percentile would get a tax cut of about $5,000. What about the rest of us? Well, we get an average of $1,000 tax increase through the elimination of deductions and credits to pay for this tax cut to the rich. So let's sum up the Romney Tax Plan. In essence, the Romney Plan shifts $86 billion of wealth from the working middle class to the already very rich.